如果我是一个捞女，
If I were a gold digger, I definitely wouldn't ask you for money right away. Instead, I would present myself as a hard-working person, making you feel at ease while raising my own status. I would get close to you, pretend to be interested, and give you some sweet hints, but never take the final step. When you couldn't help but confess your feelings, I would tearfully tell you that I've been hurt before and need a lot of love to feel secure. When you feel pity for me, you will have fallen into my trap. I would hint that I value ceremony, mentioning what other suitors have given me. When you, influenced by my hints, invest more and become more entangled, I would become distant. To seek my enthusiasm, you would have to spend even more money. However, once I see your ceiling and have drained you sufficiently, I would kick you aside and look for the next target.
首先，第一种最常见也是最低级的捞女。
There are several types of gold diggers. If you have a better condition, you might have encountered these types. The first type is the most common and basic gold digger. They will ask you for money in various situations, asking for money when going out, asking for money on dates, or even during a birthday party at home. The lowest level gold diggers might even ask you to order takeout for them. The second type of gold digger is more sophisticated. They will use a method of being intermittently warm and cold to make you think they have feelings for you, but they are not particularly invested. They might act cold when you are enthusiastic and become warm when you are indifferent. They may give you some hints, such as leaning closer during your time together, creating an illusion that they like you. Even if you confess your feelings and are rejected, they will still accept your gifts. The third type of gold digger is even more advanced. They treat you exceptionally well, making you willing to spend money and provide emotional value, leading you to become emotionally invested. They use their beauty and sincere behavior to guide you, making you feel they are deeply invested. However, in reality, they rarely make substantial contributions and might continually change your thoughts and perceptions. They might use their past romantic experiences to gain sympathy, such as saying, "All my serious relationships ended because the guys didn't cherish me." But the actual reason for the breakup was that her ex found out she was trying to extract money from him. The most high-level gold digger skillfully guides you to believe she is fully considering your needs. Her true intention is to exchange emotional value and appearance for material gains. You might end up suffering because you are unclear about what you truly need. You may think you need just emotional value, but in reality, you need loyalty and dedication. Gold diggers are unlikely to provide that.
大家来帮我分析一下啊，这个女的是不是个捞女？
Everyone, please help analyze if this woman is a gold digger. Just now, my friend left a message on WeChat, asking me to help analyze whether this woman has any problems and if she is normal or not. He has been with the woman for a year and a half. He said he has transferred a total of about 90,000 yuan to her, and including the money spent on her, it totals around over 100,000 yuan. When they talked about getting married, they initially agreed on a bride price of 88,000 yuan, but now it has increased to 108,000 yuan. The woman said, "If you want us to get married in 2024, the bride price should be 108,000 yuan. You need to buy a car worth no less than 300,000 yuan, the house must be bought by the man in full, and the woman's name must be added to the title." Additionally, when both parents and relatives meet, each red envelope given to these relatives should not be less than 2,000 yuan. Then, a separate red envelope with an auspicious amount of 10,001 yuan should be given to the woman. During the engagement, another 10,001 yuan red envelope should be given. The 3 gold items for the wedding should not be less than 30,000 yuan. She said that if he can meet all these requirements, they will get married in 2024. If not, they should break up and not waste each other's time. I think this woman's intentions are not pure. I don't know what you all think about this, and you can also give him some advice on whether he should continue with this woman or give up. Anyway, my suggestion is to give up, as I think this woman's intentions are not pure.
不要再说我们女孩子物质了。
Don't always say that we girls are materialistic. You might not distinguish between Laro Nu and normal girls. For example, if a guy spends a lot of money on gifts for a girl, and the girl says to him, "We're just friends, you're a nice person," a normal girl would decisively and clearly refuse if she doesn't like you. Even a small gift would not be accepted if she knows you are pursuing her. If you give her both big and small gifts, and she accepts them but still doesn't accept you as a person, you need to consider whether the problem is with your own judgment. Is it possible that the person you're pursuing has issues? In fact, whether a boy or a girl likes each other isn't necessarily determined by money. For instance, if I'm having a great and enjoyable time with someone, I will like that feeling of interaction rather than measuring it with money. So, if the other person purely lets you spend money without any boundaries, I think it's better to give up early. Such a person is not worth it.
我追一个女生已经在她身上花了20万了。
One of my friends has spent 200,000 yuan pursuing a girl. The girl told him that if he buys her a 500,000 yuan car, she will agree to be with him. My friend has been pursuing her for a month, and during this time, he has taken her out to dinners costing over 1,000 yuan per person and given her gifts worth 5 figures. A few days ago, he transferred 52,000 yuan to her and confessed his feelings. When I asked him why he was so generous to this girl, he said it was because the girl had mentioned that when others initially pursued her, someone had bought her a 500,000 yuan car, but she still didn't agree to be with him because she didn't like him. My friend thought he should show more sincerity and not be worse than other suitors, so he was willing to invest so much. After listening to this, I realized that this is actually a tactic used by gold diggers. They raise their value and show that they are not materialistic, but when you invest a lot of time and money and are about to achieve your goal, they will delay because they fear you won't cherish them. They use this method to make you prove your genuine interest. Many men who have invested heavily might feel that they truly love the girl and are willing to continue investing. These gold diggers take advantage of the gambler's psychology, making you reluctant to give up. In the end, I want to tell you that such girls often continue to make new demands. Once you agree to their requests, you will immediately become the provider. They might fulfill their promise but then find excuses to delay, keeping you in a pseudo-romantic relationship while you continue to be the provider. Ultimately, you will either be used as a tool or be ruthlessly abandoned after your value has been drained. Remember, attracting a girl relies on other qualities, not on impressing her with money.
I was really surprised to find out that there are actually gold digger training classes in Shanghai nowadays. These training classes mainly teach young girls how to extract money from wealthy men. The tuition for these classes is very expensive. It is said to be 50,000 yuan per hour. The girls attending these classes are usually between the ages of 20 to 28. Their targets are entrepreneurs, company executives, second-generation rich kids, or elite men from some trending industries. Whether you are single or not, you are all their targets. Recently, a netizen mentioned an incident. A very wealthy man said that he had been dating his girlfriend for 6 months. During these 6 months, the girl gradually asked him for cash transfers and expensive gifts totaling 2 million yuan. After 6 months, the girl asked to get married. At this point, the man felt that they had not been together long enough to get married immediately, and the economic situations of their families were vastly different. It was not a suitable match. The man's parents also disagreed with them getting married so soon. Seeing that marrying into a wealthy family was hopeless, the girl proposed breaking up, and she refused to return the cash transfers and gifts she had received. At this point, the man realized that he had been deceived. Later, the man used some connections to find out that the girl was simultaneously dating several men and even used the same phrases. He then realized that this girl had attended a gold digger training class. He later recovered part of the money through legal means.
I have seen an extremely straightforward gold digger, who made no effort to hide her intentions. A few years ago, a young girl used her connections to follow a boss into one of our high-level gatherings. These gatherings are held several times a year, initiated by the most powerful bosses in the circle, and very few outsiders can participate. Upon hearing about the gathering, this girl begged one of the bosses to bring her to learn. When introducing herself, she claimed to be the business director of a certain company. Whether it was her keen sense or some other reason, during the meal, she quickly identified the most powerful boss present and ran over to toast him with her glass of wine. To everyone's surprise, she directly sat on the boss's lap. After being pushed away, she tried to sit again but was scolded by the boss, and she dejectedly returned to her table. That night, back at the hotel, she used the excuse of borrowing a power bank to knock on my door, saying she wanted to learn more about our industry. I obviously understood her intentions, so I immediately refused her through the door. Later, I learned that she went door to door knocking on several bosses' doors that night and added several bosses' contacts. The next day, she insisted on riding back with the second most powerful boss in the circle but was also refused. Do you know what happened next? After returning, this girl continuously visited those bosses from the gathering. I heard that she got a BMW from one of the bosses and received some money from two smaller bosses, totaling hundreds of thousands of yuan in cash. Just this trip alone, she probably harvested over 1 million yuan. Those bosses who gave her benefits were later ridiculed by us. In fact, such things are not uncommon in our circle, but wasn't her behavior a bit too blatant?
Identifying a gold digger is actually quite simple, you just need to look at how often she mentions money. Think about it, when you like someone, don't you want to show your best side? If she constantly says things like, "Oh, I owe for water, I owe for electricity, I owe for service fees, I have to pay rent tomorrow, work isn't going well, I haven't made any money recently, I can't afford to eat," regardless of whether she directly asks you for money, if she keeps talking about her poor living conditions, she is likely a gold digger. There are also some women you can identify as gold diggers without even meeting them. If she immediately starts asking about your car, house, job, income, and so on, in 99% of cases, she is testing how much money you have. At this point, you mustn't save face, because in the end, you'll likely end up with nothing. Another type of gold digger is one who constantly comments on how nice a bag looks, how good a piece of clothing is, or how great a watch is. I want to tell you that if a girl genuinely wants to date you, she would be too shy to ask for anything directly. But why do so many people still get tricked? Because what I'm most worried about is that you think she is an exception. Finally, let me tell you how a gold digger usually responds when you confess your feelings. A gold digger might say, I think we're moving too fast. I want to get to know you better, see what kind of person you are. I believe relationships should develop naturally and take their time. When the time is right, we'll naturally be together. If you think you've heard this response before, congratulations, you're just a fish in her pond, she's fishing for you.